Doc, we want to talk about churches and their annual themes. And this question actually is from one of our viewers called Adam Kujo from Dansuman. He says that, does the turn of the year put pressure on pastors to come up with a theme for the new year? And when these different pastors give that same year different themes, can they all be hearing from the same God?
A theme is not a prophecy. A theme is an idea that God gives to you or that you receive to guide your church as an organization and focus its activities for the year. So, for example, when we say that this is a year of excellence, we are not saying everybody's year is going to be excellent in Ghana. We're saying that for us in this church, this is the theme we feel led to deploy. And so in our church, for example, there's so many activities around the theme of excellence, including training, and everything is just helping us to achieve that. Some may be that their theme is something else, and they organize. I know sometimes people say it as a prophetic word in that sense, but even if it's a prophetic word, it is localized. In other words, the word God gives to me is going to be different from the word God gives to all of you. It doesn't mean God has forgotten or God is confused, but He's leading us differently in different ways. So different leaders can have different leadings of God for their organizations.
So, Doc, in one of your previous submissions, you talked about group prophecy. You know, when you mentioned the political party, you know, people who are affiliated to it, prophets, let's say, they'll prophesy in favor of the party. In this instance, do you advise, you know, pastors to be in sync, or because of the peculiarity of their ministries and what they want to deploy, they are still supposed to stick to specific themes for the year?
I mean, there are a few areas that I like to encourage people not to sway into. I try not to judge people and how they do their work, you know, but just to reason and to plead. Things that require human will, we don't control it. Even God doesn't always get His will done. Even God, because human will can rebel against it. So I say, when you're going to marry, you don't need prophecy, because human will is very deep there. Your will and the will of the other person. It needs agreement between the two people. Does it mean God cannot lead you? God can lead you, but don't push it too hard, because you can make mistakes there. And when it comes to elections, it's human will. That is why most of the people who try to prophesy elections always leave a caveat and say, well, if you don't pray, this will happen. You pray that. Well, then why are you saying it? You know, the thing is so fluid. Keep it to yourself and pray that the will of God be done. And by the way, I don't believe God chooses presidents for nations.
That's big.
That's a big one.
I don't believe that. I believe people choose a president and God sanctions their choice.
Could this also come?
We are not a theocracy.
Right.
God doesn't choose presidents for nations. And so you cannot say that a particular president is God's chosen. It's the people's choice, and that's why he can be elected and de-elected. If God chose him, then we can't vote on him. So it's we choose, but God approves, because the institutions of state are recognized by God. You know, it's almost like marriage. You see Sister A and you say, I will marry you, I love you with all my heart. And you go to the altar, God says, I sanction it. Now you can't come and say, Lord, no, I made a mistake. No. It says, once you have made that choice, let no man put asunder. You know, so there are things humans do when two come in agreement. God honors it. It's bound in heaven, and bound on earth, and bound in heaven. So when we go to the vote and elect a president, for better or for worse, we have bound ourselves to the person, and God accepts the bind.